This might be a long post. We had been largely no contact, except when I would get angry, and text things that were on my mind to her. I regret this. I said mean things, granted, I'm the betrayed spouse. I know. Still, I was ice cold. Move ahead to last week. My favorite dog that I have ever had came down with a sudden autoimmune disease and was in very bad shape. My ex loved our dogs very much. She was a great dog mom, and I knew how much she loved them. So when I took my sick dog to the vet, I invited her to see him one more time just in case he died. He was only 6 years old and it was very sad. She shows up and the dog is our focus instead of our past relationship. We end up keeping him on 24-hour care for 3 days, and he gets 3 blood transfusions. They didn't work, so I decided to have him put down. I invited my ex to see the dog off. It was very sad. We cried. Most importantly, we talked. All of my anger for her had gone away. I have a girlfriend now who I love. I have a life on my own. Also, I'm very protective of my feelings with the ex, so I kept things kind of cold and mechanical with her. I learned she feels that her affair was the biggest and the only thing that kept her going was that she might see the dogs one day. What she didn't know was that I wasn't going to let that happen until my dogs started dying. I also didn't know that every time I sent a mean as fuck message to my ex, she had already been suicidal. She has panic attacks in grocery stores because she's afraid she'll see one of my friends. I pity her. I've made it clear that I cannot and will not be her friend. But I did offer to drop off our old dog, her favorite, so that she could walk her. I'm doing this for me, really, because I think it's the right thing to do. Before a lot of you tell me that this is fake remorse and she's a narcissist and this is just a statistic, know that I thought the same thing. The truth is she really did fuck up bad, and now she's paying the consequences. To be honest, I wouldn't trade places with her for anything. I know that there are some narcissists that compartmentalize their affairs and are probably mentally ill, but I looked in the face of the consequences of adultery and let me tell you folks, it looks like hell. She will have to live with shame and guilt for a long, long time. I made it clear to her that in no way am I her friend. She even tried to crack a joke. And I just said, we aren't doing that. I explained that I cannot bring emotions into sharing the dog with her, and it was to protect me. I know that I have come a long way compared to a lot of other betrayed spouses and my heart goes out to you guys. But letting go of all the anger has freed my soul in ways that nothing else would. I've replaced it with pity, and it's helping me a great lot. I used to go into fits of anger over all of this, then cry. Now, it's just pity. I may have been betrayed, but I get to go to sleep at night knowing that I was loyal and loving. I know that I sort of rambled here, but it helps to type this stuff out. Be well, folks. The most honest email my SDBXW has sent me, or is it just more manipulation? My SDBXW sent me this long email, which feels honest, but also kinder off. It's the first email where she lays it out and doesn't try to blame me. She makes several mentions of her being a narcissist, which is something new. I feel like she's read about narcissists and their traits. And now she's framing everything from that perspective. See her mention about narcissism 101. I won't reply to it. I'm staying NC, but it actually gives me some peace because it's the first email that is not delusional. What are your thoughts? I know you don't love me anymore, but I still love you. I'll always love you. You are the biggest part of my life. No one knows me like you do, no one ever will. You've seen all of my ugly sides, and I like to think you've also seen the beautiful parts of me. And although the ugly overshadows the beautiful now, the beautiful still exists. You know my heart, my weaknesses, my best, and my worst. You know it all, probably better than I do. I will love you forever because I know those sides of you as well. I've seen it all. Every side of you, I see you. You have given me so much. You have supported me whenever I felt insecure, afraid, or sad. You have lifted me up from the dark more times than I can count. I was lost and scared when we met, unsure of where I belong in the world. And then you found me. You guided me. You brought me home. The only home I've ever known, the only place that has felt like home has been next to you with you. You taught me how to love myself, how to work hard, and go after what I want, how to not give up. It's mind-blowing how much we built together. Two college kids who didn't get a head start like many of our friends and peers. We built business one from the dining table. We built business two. From a silly idea, I Googled 5 minutes before pitching for the first time. We built careers in respectable fields by learning everything in our living room. And I truly believe it was all possible because we are an unmatched team. We supported one another through it all. I worked a miserable job that made me so unhappy while you learned skill. You stuck with company when they didn't appreciate you while I learned about skill. There is nothing we can't do together. But I lost sight of that. I got too wrapped up in validation and feeling worthy in someone else's eyes. I lost myself, who I really am, who only you knows. I'm sorry for that. I've struggled with validation my whole life. It's partly because my family only cares how things appear for others, and partly because I don't believe I'm good enough. I know my false sense of confidence and my narcissism would make people believe otherwise, but I know I'm not good enough. I go out of my way to make my friends like me because I believe they would like me for just being myself. I send them gifts and overly praise them for minor things. I make myself available everyone and anyone going through a hard time, usually at the expense of myself. I do this both to help, but also to get the validation that I'm a good person, a good friend, a good employee. You're right. When I was struggling throughout the last month, I didn't ask for help. I didn't keep it real or let you in. I expected you to read my mind to see the signs, so I wouldn't have to admit my weakness. I thought you'd think less of me for being weak, for not handling my shit or not saying no, not taking care of myself when it seemed so simple. I thought I'd have to explain why I'm incapable of saying no. That I'd have to remove the shield of confidence and worthiness to reveal who I truly am. Afraid and less than. But you already knew that I wouldn't be revealing anything new. Instead, I sought validation for the opposite of what I believed. I fished for compliments at work to make me believe I actually knew what I was doing and could succeed in this job. I stayed up all night talking to best friend. When best friend's ex broke up with her so I could be told I was a good friend, I guilted you into not bringing up difficult conversations, so I wouldn't feel guilt for not making time or being honest. And then I've never seen myself as beautiful or interesting or smart. I know that being a narcissist, that's hard to believe, but it's true. I pick myself apart constantly. Every time we're out with friends and I talk too much or too passionately, I come home and beat myself up about it. I replay the conversation in my head, over and over. I put on clothes and prance around you, fishing for a compliment to make me believe I was beautiful or sexy. As I started losing weight, things got worse. You tell me I was beautiful all the time, but I couldn't believe it. It's why I fished for it so often. I wanted to believe it, so to be so skinny, so unhealthy, and have a douchebag with muscles find me attractive or interesting, it validated me. It's a choice I made. No excuses. But between the insecurity and the fear, afraid of having a panic attack alone, I sought his attention. I wanted to feel cared for. I wanted to think I was interesting, beautiful, smart. It didn't work. No one could make me feel safe or cared for or beautiful or anything, but you. No one ever did and no one ever will. I know it's hard to believe anything I say, and I don't blame you for that. I have lost all credibility. I did that to myself, but I need you to know that this was not premeditated. I didn't step out of line physically before going there. I wasn't talking to him 4 weeks or months before. Other country, I didn't feel anything for him, then or now. It was an opportunistic mistake, fuck up, bad decision, life-altering choice. If he wasn't there, it could have been someone else. He means nothing now, then, or ever. I was just seeking attention, so I'd feel better about myself. Narcissism 101. I only thought about myself, I didn't consider how it would affect you. You're also right that I probably would have come home and kept it from you. But I also know that we were planning to speak on Sunday about all of the hard things. And I was mentally preparing for that. Preparing to share how I'd been hurting myself and putting everything at risk. But I don't know if I would have shared what happened in other country. It's so unfair that I committed to trying everything before throwing this away, and then I didn't follow through. Instead of relying on my best friend, the best person in my life, I instead hurt you.